What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rest, and we are doing the Bob's Lost Soul quest. It's a level 45 quest in the Sax Forest at -7, -793, and this is one of the longer quests, but you do get a pretty good chest plate at the end of it, and it is a requirement for a later quest that we will be doing, so this is an important one. It's a long one. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. We begin by talking to Tarod, and I love what he's wearing. I mean, just check out the drip on this guy. So we go ahead and we talk to him. He tells us a lot of stuff about the ancient Bob the Builder guy, and he wants us to find Bob's tomb. So let me go ahead and pin that up there. We have to go find Bob's tomb. It's not too hard to find it. You just head east. Here we go. All you have to do is keep on heading east, and you can find, and a little bit to the south as well, a little bit to the south, you will find his tomb over here. It will look like this alongside the wall, and this can be found at the coordinates 253, -759 if you do get lost. You don't even have to go in, you just get close to it, and then your quest book will open up and it says go report what you found to Tarod. So all we had to do there was find it. We found it, so now we're just gonna head back. My goodness, this game is beautiful, am I right? Alright, here we are back at Tyrod. We're gonna go ahead and talk to him again, tell him, hey, we found it, and that we can't really walk in. It's weird. So then we have to go talk to a sorcerer named Wedif in Breminglar. Now, Breminglar is, I can show you where we are right here. The quest begins right there. Breminglar is north past Deathless here. So it is quite a journey. If you want to travel that whole distance, you can. I would recommend getting at least a scroll to get to Deathless. Okay, for an exact location of where you can find Wedif, because it doesn't exactly tell you, he is at 660, -2048. He is on the southwest side of the town. We'll go ahead and talk to him. He has a lot of information for us. A lot of information. And he wants us to get one Bob's here from Ragni and one rose from the florist. The rose is close to Nasak, so I'm just gonna go ahead and teleport here. There is a beacon for it, so you can just follow the beacon. It's pretty straightforward. So you'll find a rose florist in here. All you have to do is kill her, and you get that one rose. And then all we need to do is head to Ragni. Perfect. Now we are going to pretty much wait around until we find a level 1 zombie called Bob the Zombie around these parts. You can always buy it from the store, but I'm going to wait around until I find one to show you guys just that it can be done. Okay, here we go. I found Bob the Zombie. He was sitting here with the cook for me. You can always just run around until you find him. When you kill him, he will drop a Bob the Zombie, which I think came in. Oh, I already have 3 of his Bob's tears. So keeping them for future quests is very helpful. But it didn't take me more than 3 or 4 minutes for him to spawn. So it's really not that much of a concern. And this is usually where people get lost the most. So that shouldn't be too much of an issue if you're just running around Ragni, or you can always go to the trade market and buy from the trade market. So now that we have gotten that, we're gonna go back to Wedif in Breminglar. He should be standing right there. Okay, here we are back at Wedif. We're just gonna go ahead and talk to him. Okay, we'll just go ahead and give him a tear and the rose. And now he wants us to go to the blacksmith near the coordinates that it gives us and talk to him about Bob's soul. Okay, here we are. There's the beacon. There's the blacksmith. We talk to him. He tells us some stuff. He extracts some stuff. And now he wants to get some more stuff. So like I said, there's a lot of just traveling and fetching. He wants you to get a depressing stick, a depressing spear, a depressing bow, and a depressing shear. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to go ahead and go to Deathless. We're going to go ahead and go to the trade market and buy all these. By this point in the game, you should have enough money to afford these. They aren't too expensive. So we're just going to search depressing. And they all show up. We can sort by least expensive. So I can buy the depressing stick. Awesome. Then I can buy the cheapest depressing bow. Awesome. Then we can get the cheapest depressing shears, which is actually just a dagger. The fact that it's called depressing shears is because it used to be shears before one of the updates. And then the depressing spear here. Okay. There we go. So we have the cheapest of all the items. I think it's all 4 right here. So you will spend probably 10 blocks of emeralds getting these 4 items. It can be quite annoying. But you will get compensated later, so it is worth it. Okay, we have all 4 of the items with us. We're going to right click on the blacksmith. He takes them and he's going to give us Bob's crushed soul. Now this is a quest item. You will need it for a future quest. So we're going to go take that to Wedif. Again, we're going back to Breminglar, which is literally just north of here. Alrighty, we're now back in Breminglar. We have Bob's crushed soul. We give it back to Wedif. He tells us a lot of details, a lot of words. And there we go. Then we have to find Bob's corpse in his tomb. And now we have to head back to Nasak. This is why having a Nasak teleport scroll would save you some time. I know that they cost money, but it does save time. So we're going to go ahead and teleport to Nasak. There are aggressive mobs nearby. Okay, there we go. Just running away. Now that we're back in Nasak, we're going to head back to his cave, back to where he is. That's literally just straight east. Just find your way east. Eventually you'll get out of the little town, and we'll just continue this way. Just continue east, and there it is, where we found it at the beginning of the quest. So all of this we did was to get Bob's crushed soul so we could actually enter in here. So we enter the cave, and this is all fine and dandy. Once you enter, the quest isn't over yet. The quest, you have to come here underneath the stairs and enter this room. And then, quest book analyzed, and now it says report where you've seen back to Tirad. Oh, these guys will do a bit of damage. It's a nice grinding spot if you're trying to level up. Fighting these guys gives you a lot of XP. Okay, here we are. We come back. We talk to Tirad. What is up, my dude? The guy with the drip. We talk to him, and voila, we have completed Bob's lost soul. He gives us Bob's battle chest plate, which is actually a really good chest plate. So that is how to complete the quest. And yeah, we're pretty much done here. Alrighty, and welcome back to the wiki. We're gonna get into Bob's lost soul. Now, this quest actually is very interesting because it has a lot of story implications to it. So Bob's Lost Soul, it's a long level, it is very long quest that requires a player to venture all across Wynn. It really does have us go pretty much everywhere that like you could possibly not want to go. So we begin by talking to Tirad. We find him in the sack in the cold in the winterlandness place area, and he says, "You're one of those soldier types, right? My name is Tirad, and I could really use your assistance. Years ago, I met a very powerful and legendary warrior by the name of Bob. Yes, that Bob. The Bob, the one that we know is born in Ragni. If you want to know more about him, you can read more about the first dungeon we did. That one, it has him involved. He says it's safe to say he was very well admirable man. Him and I slowly became close friends over the years. That is until one night he vanished without a trace. The accepted story is that he was murdered by a pack of ravenous wolves. Now we're getting the information about where he is now. Where did Bob go? It seems that the accepted story is that he was murdered by wolves. Now that doesn't seem to be the case. He was the winner of the Wynn province. He was the best person in the Wynn province. There's no way he's gonna die to a pack of wolves, right? I mean, it's possible. And he agrees. He says, "Now I don't buy that story, but look, the point here is that he's gone now, and I want to find where the heck he ended up at. That depressing zombie lumbering around Ragni clearly isn't him. I believe he died in this area, and I have been looking for his body for quite a while now, with less than success. Rumors have spread that a tomb lies somewhere east of Nasak, but I haven't been able to find it. This is where I need you to help me out." Search around that area and report back to me if you find anything noteworthy. So we do find it. We find his tombs, and there's a strange force that prevented us from entering, and we can hear some soft laments in the distance. Did you find anything worthwhile? Oh, yes, that definitely sounds like the tomb. Were you able to see what's inside? No? There's a magical barrier. Great, just great. I have a feeling whoever made the tomb didn't want anyone attempting to get to him. But forget it, we have no other options. This is the only way we can place Bob's soul to rest for good. So we know he died, but how did he die? Listen, I have a guy who can help us out. His name is Wedif, a sorcerer type. If anyone can get rid of that barrier, it would be him. So we have to go to Breminglar to talk to Wedif. And he says, oh, it's been a long time since I've released an undead. The spirit of the dead friend must still be somewhere in this world. This is why we're unable to get close to his body. Soul magic works in mysterious ways. Don't worry, I can do it. I've heard a little bit about Bob's story before. What a tragedy. His own infallible protection used against him. Anyways, there's no need to lament on the past. We need two items. The first is something from Bob himself. The other is the thing the last thing that made his blood drop. Out past the other side of Deathless, there are two farmhouses and an old cave in between them. An old florist used to live there. She had a rose that Bob had once cut himself on. A rose. I will warn you, she was corrupted some time ago. It may not be easy to take the rose, so do be prepared. And then we have to take something of Bob, something with the soul in it. So we have to bring the rose that he hurt himself with in the tier that has his soul or a part of his soul in it. So that's what we get by killing Bob the zombie, getting the tier, and killing the florist who is corrupted, and we get the rose. So we get it. He's like, I may have forgotten to tell you something else too. We need a part of the soul of your dead friend. This is something I cannot do myself. There's a blacksmith who does this kind of stuff. He can extract the soul from someone's weapon. Very useful in those situations. Bring me the soul and I'll be able to remove the spell preventing you from entering the tomb. We talked to the blacksmith. He's like, oh yes, I can extract soul from weapons. Bring me the weapons of your friends. Oh, it's those weapons. Well, if you know what you're doing, we have to bring all the 4 depressing weapons to them. We have to give them 1 of each. And when we bring them back, he's like, oh, I know where the item's worn, but I worry they are a bit quirky. So we bring them back. He says, hi again, I see you got the weapons. Those weapons emanate so much sadness. I'm sure you've heard about Bob's story, which we really haven't heard that much. Everyone keeps talking about it, but one says that he died to ravenous wolves. One says that he died to someone else. We really don't know the whole story. And if y'all want to do a whole story, I'm definitely willing to do that. Here is a soul. I could definitely do a video about Bob's story. I can do research, find everything. I've thought maybe that'd be a fun series to do. Here's a soul. It's a little bit crushed, but it can do the trick. Good luck on your quest. We bring it to Wedif. He's like, and then he does an incantation. He says, it is done. You should be able to enter the tomb now. Be careful. We enter the tomb, and as we open the door, you feel a soft wind running past you. The lamentations have stopped. Bob's corpse is in a room underneath the stairs, and you will need to open a door. Then we report what we've seen to Tarot, and he says, has he finally been put to rest? It's hard to hear, knowing that my old friend is really gone this time. But I'm happy he won't suffer on this war-torn world for another second. I want you to have something. It's his old battle chest plate. He gave it to me a few days before he vanished. I think if he were still alive, he'd want you to have this. Please take good care of it for me. So that is how the quest ends. But this quest is really part 1 of 2 quests, and it'll be very interesting once we get to that second quest, which is I think around level 68 or 70. It's a bit higher level there, so you really don't use Bob's crushed soul until then. So this is more of a part 1 to that story. But yeah, that's all that there really is for this quest. Alrighty, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe if you haven't. No one has hit subscribe in the past 30 days that watched the video. Can you believe it? What a shame. So yeah, so just make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm going to start pumping out these videos again, completing these quests, and we'll see how far we get this time. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.